TIFU by swallowing a guitar pick. L. On Valentine's Day, my senior year of high school, I took my guitar in to play some songs for people in the hallways between classes. When I wasn't playing, I usually had my pick in my mouth and would chew on it, flutter it around. Right before first period started, I was fluttering in the pick, and while I was breathing in, it caught the wind like a sail and rocketed into the back of my throat. I swallowed as a reflex to prevent it from getting lodged in my trachea and subsequently swallowed the damn thing. I must have made a noise or something because the student next to me said, "Did you just swallow your guitar pick, Squigs?" loud enough for everyone to hear. My teacher called me up to her desk and asked me if I did, and I said that I had in fact swallowed it. She told me to go to the nurse's station, and I declined, stating that I had just turned 18 a little while before. I'm an adult, and I can make my own decisions. She told me again to go to the nurse's station, and I said okay. At the nurse's station, they immediately had me sit down and took my blood pressure and checked my airways. They said they were going to call my mom, and I gave them the spiel that I was an adult and can make my own decisions and so forth. Somehow that seemed to work, and they wanted to keep me for another half hour just to make sure I would be all right. I could still feel the pick in the lower part of my chest, stuck in my esophagus right above my stomach, but I didn't let them know that. After a few minutes, I asked if I could go to the restroom, and they said that was fine. When I came back out, they informed me that they had called my mother. "Well, shit, I guess I'm going to the hospital, huh?" I asked, and they answered with a nod. I asked them to write me a pass to get my car, and they said I was going to be driven there. I asked if my mom was picking me up, and they said no, an ambulance is on the way. 5 minutes later, some paramedics walk in, check my blood pressure, and make sure my airways were okay. When they said I was ready to be transported, I stood up. They told me to sit down, and then the stretcher was rolled in. I got all strapped in and everything, and they wheeled me out of the nurse's station to a crowd of people that had gathered. I went to school with roughly 3,000 people, and a quick scan of the crowd revealed that I didn't know any of these people and felt some relief. From the back, one of my friends hollers out, "What's wrong, Squigs?" A middle finger was my response. In the ambulance, I get my BP taken again as we make our way to the hospital, lights on and siren blaring. When we arrive, my mom was waiting at the front desk with a concerned look on her face that went to a scorn when she saw my smiling face. When we get into the room, I had my BP taken again, and the doctor asked if I had any issues and ordered an X-ray. The X-ray tech had me take off my shirt, which ripped the armpit and had me assume the position. I asked her if they could pick up plastic on an X-ray, and she said no, and I told her this is pointless then. When the image came back, she pointed to the white mass in the center of my chest and said that she thought that was it. I responded that it was just my heart. After that, I get my BP taken again, have an EKG done which came back textbook perfect, and was playing the waiting game on the doctor to come back and see me. The only comfort that I had through the experience was that I get to go home early from school. That happy thought only lasted about 5 minutes because the scroll on the bottom of the TV said that schools were doing an early dismissal because of a snowstorm. An hour later, the doctor comes back, checks my BP again, and says that he'll release me in an hour. They wanted to make sure that there were no after effects of swallowing a piece of plastic. I could still feel the thing stuck, but didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to get scoped or anything of that sort. I was finally released, got in my mom's van to get dropped off in the parking lot of school, which was vacant except my car because everyone else got to leave. I opened the pack of mini muffins that I had, and when I swallowed the first one, it pushed the guitar pick into my stomach. As a result of my encounter, the school put out a new rule that guitar picks are not to be chewed on. I also could feel the thing moving through my intestines at random times and got a significant amount of requests for me to fish it out of my stool when it emerged. A couple days later, it came out with no issues, and I flushed the bastard. TL, doctor swallowed guitar pick. When a hospital, my bowels work properly. TIFU M22, I cheated on my girl. Should I try to get her to take me back, and how? L. For clarity up front, Jenny equals my ex, 2-year relationship. Emily equals my best friend, who later became my girlfriend. I first slept with Emily, while Jenny and I were on a break/no contact. TLDR, Op cheated on girlfriend with his ex-girlfriend and nobody in his friend group knows they're dating. I know this is going to trigger a lot of people, and I want to hear everything you have to say. I don't have anyone to talk to about this, so Reddit, here it goes. I was dating a girl, let's call her Jenny. Jenny and I were together for about 2 years, but towards the end of the relationship we were going through a really rough patch. We had an on-and-off situation with very serious periods of no contact. During one of those no-contact periods, I slept with someone I considered my best friend, let's call her Emily. Emily knew everything about my relationship with Jenny. All 3 of us were part of the Jenny friend group. For context, Emily had her own complicated dating history within the group. Back in 2022, she made out with one of my close friends, went to second base with him, and briefly dated another friend. After that, she had a steady boyfriend until they eventually broke up. Emily and Jenny were actually very good friends until around the end of 2023, when they gradually drifted apart. Coming back to me, one thing led to another, and since I was sleeping with Emily regularly, I eventually ended things with Jenny completely. In April 2025, our friend group went on a beach-end party trip to celebrate the end of our graduate studies. Jenny said she would only come on the trip if we stayed in the Jenny room. I agreed after first discussing it with Emily because I didn't want to hurt Jenny's feelings. During the trip, Emily barely spoke to me. We had a huge fight over text, but stupidly we smoothed things over afterward. In May, Emily and I officially started dating. Things were actually going really well, but she was always insecure that I'd leave her and go back to Jenny. Now comes the part where everything really falls apart. In early December, while I was returning home from a work trip, Jenny texted me. She had texted me before too, but I usually told Emily immediately and didn't reply. This time, we started talking. After a while, Jenny asked if she could come over. I agreed. We were just sitting and talking at first, but then she kissed me. I reciprocated, and one thing led to another, and we had sex. I never told Emily about this. Later, Jenny asked if she could spend New Year's with me. I declined and told her I'd be with Emily and some friends. She reacted badly, called Emily a bunch of names, and completely lost it. For context, Jenny doesn't know that Emily and I were dating or sleeping together. She's always disliked Emily, thinking she's immature and childish, and hated how close Emily and I were. This was despite the fact that Emily used to be rude to me in front of friends, emotionally dump her problems on me, and come in and out of my life whenever she wanted something that stopped after I directly confronted her about it. Now it's New Year's Day, January 1st, 2026. I'm with my friends at around 4 a.m. Everyone is drunk. Emily is completely sloshed and suddenly asks to see my phone. I hand it over without hesitation. She goes straight to my texts with Jenny and sees everything, including messages where I asked Jenny to come to a New Year's house party. She quickly figures out that I cheated on her with my ex. She pulls me into another room so we can be alone and completely loses it. She says a lot of things. I don't know how much of it was true, but I genuinely don't think she's ever been unfaithful to me. Even though she did keep in touch with her ex whenever we took breaks, because she felt insecure. I've absolutely broken her. She was already going through a really difficult time with her career and life in general, and I just made everything worse. I fucked up badly. If I could go back in time and fix everything, I would. I want Emily to take me back, but the messed up part is that if she were my best friend instead of my girlfriend, I'd tell her to stay far away from a guy who did this to her. I can't tell any of my friends, they'd be furious, and for obvious reasons. No one even knew Emily, and I were dating except her sister. I have no one to talk to about this. I want you all to tell me exactly what you think about this, and what you think I should do next. Edit, change the names, and made it more clear to understand. TIFU, because I know a secret about my friend that I haven't told her. XL. I really need advice on this one, so please lock in. This one's a long one. So to start, my friend, L was going on dates with a guy. This started back around the end of September. L would always tell me how the dates went and debriefed it. She didn't keep it too niche and told a few people, most being people who sit at our lunch table. Everyone at the lunch table knew except M. M has a personality for sure. He isn't nice, is loud and is bad at keeping secrets, lives off of calling people fat and stupid for a living, even us, his friends, and will make fun of people whenever they tell him anything. L specifically told me, "Do not tell M, please, he can't know." I agreed and honestly understand why she didn't want him knowing. He probably would have made fun of her for it after all. So from the end of September to now, they've been going on dates. L tells me all about them. We're the type of friends that if something happens, we're the first people to tell each other. M, on the other hand, no one really trusts telling him anything since he's likely to go tell the entire school about it. He's a bit of a gossip, so he's often left out of the loop of things like this. Yesterday, I was on the phone with both M and L, although M isn't the nicest. He's funny, which at least makes him fun to talk to. After 10 minutes, L left, leaving just me and M on the call. M says if L doesn't join back right now, I'm going to share her deepest, darkest secret. Naturally, I think to myself, what secret? She doesn't really have any. So then I ask him, what secret? He replies saying, "You definitely know which secret I'm talking about," and flashes me a smile. I look at him confused. He continues, "On the count of 3, we're both going to name a color that correlates to this secret." I agree, although I had no secret in mind. Having no clue on which color to pick, I decide to pick a neutral color, black. No way he picks black right. Wrong. He counts us off, and at the same time we both say black. He starts laughing and I sat there confused. There's no way he knows about L and a right. For context, A is black, but that's not why I said black, but it's why M said black. He shouldn't know right. No one could have told him, not that many people even know. Us guessing the same color results in me introducing the idea of a 20 questions-esque game, where I guess what the secret is, which he said that it means he hypothetically didn't tell me. I will admit that it's my fault for suggesting and indulging in the game, but what can I say? I wanted to know if he knew about them, because if he did, I would tell L. When we first began the game, he told me a disclaimer saying, "No matter what, you can't tell L and you can't get mad at me either. Promise me you cannot tell her. This is a secret you're not supposed to tell, especially to her." And me, I agreed to his terms. For context, since me and L often tell each other everything, I was 100% prepared to tell her about this. Whenever I hear people talking about her, of course I'm going to tell her. It's her right to know. But when M made me promise, part of me wondered if I should or shouldn't tell her. We go on for about 30 minutes playing the game until I conclude it by knowing the final answer. I never explicitly said L and A were going on dates. I never even said A's name. I made sure I was careful with what I told him because I didn't want to be introducing any new information to him. Now at this point you might be wondering, why is it so bad that M knows about L and a going on dates? Well, M not only would make fun of L for it, which he confirmed he would do, but knowing him, he'd likely spread it around the school, making sure all grades from freshman to senior knew what was going down. So him knowing that they were going on dates, that's like him having a button to set off a nuke. After guessing, I wondered who told him. No way it was someone from the table, right? I didn't tell anybody. So I asked him and he said, "I have connections, I can't tell you," and shrugged off my question. The furthest I got was knowing it was a girl in our grade. At this point I started to stress out. We're so done, I'm cooked, she's gonna be so mad. M just looked at me confused. M, she's already going to be mad that you knew. She tried everything to make sure you didn't, and you've known since November. And what if she knows I know? She'll be so mad at me because I knew that you know, which is bad, and didn't tell her. Does me not telling her make me a bad friend?" M began to ramble about the situation as I sat there and listened. "You know, honestly, I told my therapist about this, and I'm low-key mad at L. Why would she tell everyone but me? Everyone knew except me. Like, honestly, I thought we were really close friends, but now I'm contemplating if we should even be friends at all. I will admit, I did kind of go off on him, but I was stressing because just knowing this was jeopardizing, which is no excuse. M, how are you making this about you right now? This has nothing to do with you at all. Ever think she didn't tell you because whenever someone ever tells you anything, you just make fun of them for it? It makes sense why she didn't want you to know. You can barely even keep a secret. You're overreacting. If this happened to me, I'd just assume she didn't want me to know, and regardless, it's not my business." He responded, No, I know I'm making it about me, okay, but you don't know what it's like for everyone in the friend group to know something you don't. You don't know what it's like since she tells you everything. You know what it's like when I overreact. I would make this a whole group thing, but right now I'm just making it a me and her thing. It just makes me upset that I've known her for twice as long as you, yet she runs to you to tell you everything, and she never tells me anything. I shoot back with, "So you're jealous that she tells me things. And plus, it's not even a you and her thing anymore. You roped me into this. She's gonna be so mad at me. And you made me promise not to tell her. I can't even do anything about it." M even mentioned at one point that he was going to tell other people he knew, but decided against it and told me. He said this whole situation made him really mad, and how he doesn't really want to be friends with L anymore, which personally I think is an extreme. He said his therapist told him to distance himself. At this point, M said something that made this situation different. "I'm okay sinking with my ship. I'll go down with it, but if I go down with my ship, you go down with me." He stared at me with a straight face. Is that a threat? Is he seriously trying to blackmail me right now? He told me that I can't do anything about this situation because he's going to blackmail me. I told him, no, M, you can't do that. You can't blackmail me if I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not sinking on my ship, and I will not go down with it. Women and children were the first people on the lifeboats on the Titanic, and I'm both okay. I'm not sinking. You aren't going to ruin mine and Elle's friendship just because you crossed a line and betrayed her trust by doing something she didn't want you to do. He just looked at me. He knew he had leverage. Obviously, this stressed me out completely. So Reddit, this is where I ask the question, do I or do I not tell Elle? For this to make more sense, Elle and M aren't the closest friends, which is why M doesn't care jeopardizing their relationship. The reason it's so bad that I know that he knows about L and A is that I don't know if I should tell her or not. If I tell her, he'll be mad. But if I don't tell her and she comes to the realization that I knew, she'll be mad. Regardless, someone is mad at me. M even texted me this morning asking if I told her because she was being extra mean. She is super nice. My heart genuinely drops every time I see a text from him because I'm expecting the worst. And when I talk to Elle now, I sit there thinking that I know something she doesn't and she should really know. Plus, she was mad at me in October for a separate thing, and this might just be the cherry on the top. I'm scared she'll want to stop being friends. I know this sounds kind of confusing and stupid, but I just really don't want to lose friends. Regardless of what happens, I'm likely to lose a friend. If I tell Elle, I lose him, but if I don't tell Elle and she figures it out, I likely lose her. Reddit, what do I do? Update. So it's been 1 week since he told me and I still have yet to tell her. I know, but hear what has happened. For the past week, Elle was mad at him because he was being an asshole to her, as per usual. For the past 2 weeks, M will spontaneously text me multiple times a day asking me how to stop Elle from being mad at him, give him advice, etc. Even talking in person, all he ever brings up is Elle. I don't need to sit here and listen to him vent about how he hates my friend and talk shit about her. Genuinely, it's annoying because it's all he talks about. And today, M and L had this fight over text. She told him he's always unnecessarily an asshole and he apologized and said he'd be nice from now on. Of course, after the fight, M told me what happened, as did L. L said she thinks she actually got to him, and that this will resonate. On the other hand, M told me he's still gonna be an asshole to the rest of us, but just not her. I asked him, what do we have to do for you to stop being an asshole? And he responded with, throw a fit like L did. This led me into having a 30-minute conversation explaining to him how I don't just want to hear him talk about L, not related to throwing a fit. This wasn't directly after he said that. The whole time all he said was, I don't want to talk about this right now. I asked him when's the last time we had a conversation not about her, and he was silenced. Then he somehow victimized himself by saying, okay, so don't talk to you then, noted. Seriously, how did he make himself the victim here? I'm not the one talking shit behind my friend's back. He told me today that I can tell her about him knowing about her and A after Friday, but I need to not make him look bad. Hello, how do I not? He also wants me to wait till after Friday so that she gets used to him being nice. At this point, I'm done having him set deadlines for me. He even told me that if I do anything, he'll tell L that I'm the one who told him about her and A. I did not utter a single word. He's just trying to blackmail me for something I didn't do so he can save his ass and make me look bad. I told him that I'm done letting him blackmail and threaten me, and that I can't stand for that anymore. That I won't let him control my words or actions. Oh, and here's the real kicker. I asked him verbatim, if you didn't tell me about you knowing about A and L, or if L wasn't mad at you, would you be talking to me right now? You know what he said? If I'm gonna be so for real, no. Mind you, I only asked him this because before he told me he knew about them, we never talked, ever. And now we talk daily, but he only talks about her. It's taking me back to this one time when M and I were in the phone and he wanted to play a game, but only if L wasn't mad playing with us. I suggested me and him just play, and he said, no, you're boring to play with. It's only fun when L's here. So yay, I'm genuinely mad. If it's hard to understand why I'm mad, I'll list out the reasons for you. Makes everything about L. Uses me solely to complain, vent. Only talks to me when he has problems. Treats me like a personal therapist. Explicitly said he wouldn't be talking to me if L wasn't mad or if I didn't know what he knew. Tries to control when, what and how I do things X, telling L when and how I tell her. Said he'd tell L I told him about her, and even though I didn't. Threatens to blackmail me. TLDR, M told me something about L that he's not supposed to know. She kept a secret that her and A were going on dates, but he wasn't supposed to know. I have yet to tell her that he knows, but I want to. M threatens to blackmail me, saying he'll lie and say I told him the secret if I tell her before he says I can. TLDR for update, L was mad at M all week, and ever since M told me he knew the secret. He only talks about L. I expressed how tired I am of it, reasons listed above, and asked him, would you be talking to me right now if she wasn't mad, or if you didn't tell me you knew about her and A, and he said no. Should I tell her? Am I in the wrong for being mad at M?